trophy that they will get if they get that P1. Rather nice too, isn't it? We'll write the qualifying time across here. Now, who is going to take this? Now, we come into this. Michelitz is, of course, the title defender. He's won it for the last 2 seasons. Team's titles, Lincoln Co-Cyan Racing. The gloves are off. They're fully back in action and ready to defend their title. We've got a brand new team in the paddock, SP Competition, with Jean-Philippe and Aurélien Comte. They are strong this weekend already. And we have Goat Racing, who have brought with them a brand new driver called Ignacio Montenegro. Now, Nacho for short. He is a mere 20-year-old, but do not let his youth confuse you or concern you, because this gentleman won TCR Spain. He's also won TCR South America and a few other decorated titles. So let's have a chat to you now, Nacho. Firstly, let's talk about the fact that you've stepped up to a world championship. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a big honor, no? Being here in Mexico representing Honda, a big brand. So I'm really happy the opportunity that they are giving to me to show my potential to these guys around the world. So I'm really, really happy. Now I'm trying to do my best. I'm gonna do my best as I did in FP2. The results were really good. So we'll keep working on it, and I will do my best.
Right. So let's just in FP1, fine. Yep. FP2. You got 1 lap in and then you were stuck in the pits. So what happened there?
Yeah, we got a problem with the gearbox. I couldn't do more than 2 laps. But at the beginning of the first laps in the checkdowns, I found the circuit I was really comfortable, you know. So I didn't need more than 2 laps or 3 laps to see every part of the circuit of the track. Of course, for push and being the limit, you have to find these, 3 or 4 tenths. But I did a lot of laps. I mean, it was only 3 laps in FP2, but I feel confident to do a in qualifying.
Good. All right. Well, that's a good one for you. Track will be really dusty this morning. That was the sort of the general theme yesterday in free practice 1, certainly. Free practice 2, it did clear off a little bit. This is a tricky track. We have a really long straight that comes into a very demanding first corner. There's a nice S-bend kink that causes all sorts of problems. I can't wait to see what that's going to be like in the race. Not only that, but they're also battling with altitude. We're 2,200 meters above sea level. Now that's going to affect their engines. We've already heard from Esteban Guerrieri. He said yesterday, it feels like the car simply doesn't work. So it's hard to just get your head around the fact that that's just an altitude thing and it is going to affect engine performance. It's also going to affect tyres. Probably not too much around here, but it will be a factor and it is something that we need to consider. Technically, it also affects us as humans by about 25% less energy. Now, we're obviously in a World Series. That's not going to affect these drivers too much. They will have trained and prepared for that both mentally and physically. But it affects me. I really struggled going up the stairs earlier. Right, so Mikel Ascona is about to get into the car. Now, he is the only driver who has actually raced here before. Now, again, being the fact that we're on a world stage, the other boys, it's not going to take them long. We've already heard from Nacho, and he's only 20. He's already got to know and loves the circuit. But it would be interesting just to find out from Mikel. Yesterday when we spoke, you said that you're the only one that has raced here before. But obviously you're on a world stage, so it's not going to make that much difference. But how confident are you feeling given that history?
Well, as you said, yeah, I had experience, but as I mentioned yesterday, we are on the highest level of TCR competition, so they are already on the first laps on the limit. I'm confident for qualifying, but to be honest, watching the result from yesterday, missing 18 kp8 from the top guys on the main straight, is something that we're gonna suffer, to be honest. So,
what is it that's affecting you guys the most? Because you were really low in free practice. So what's going on there?
Yeah, where we miss the most is in sector 1, is where you have the longest straight, and after T3 you have another longest straight. Basically sector 3, where the stadium it is, I was very close to the purple sector, so where the engine is not affecting, we are strong, but on the main straights we are lacking a lot, 18 kp8, so we cannot do much more than we did yesterday, so the target would be to be on top 10, to be honest.
Good. All right. Well, vamos. Interesting he talks about that first sector. We had SP competition were actually nailing that. Aurélien Comte, his first sector was purple, like repeatedly in free practice 2 yesterday, which is probably the most demonstrative of qualifying. Nobby Michelitz, I spoke to him yesterday. He's really, honestly, he is so super calm coming into this weekend. I mean, he's proven himself. He's had, multiple world titles now, the last 2 consecutive years. And also he's had a massive mindset shift, which I think happened about 3 or 4 years ago. Nobby used to be very, very serious and very, sort of very deeply focused. Now, obviously he still is, but there's a much more of a lightness to him. Maybe it's just old age. He's one of the oldies now. He's not a little sim racer anymore. Are you, Norby? Good? He's good. Good. All right. Bebu's there. He's happy. He's excited. Why wouldn't you be? It's Mexico City. Apparently there's going to be Spanish dancers and all sorts on the grid, which I cannot wait for. That's it. Might go and eat some tacos. Over to you, Paul.
Fabulous stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Alex Legui down there in the baking sun of Mexico City. We're, of course, getting ready to go qualifying for the first round of the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour alongside TCR Mexico at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit, or to you and I, Mexico City. An incredible track. Alex already alluded to this one. It is a technical challenge for our TCR touring car drivers. And I think it's going to present 1 or 2 curveballs coming in to this brand new season. My name's Paul Jeffrey, up here in the commentary box once again for you this year. And I am often accused of being rather excited about my touring car racing. Well, I think it's for good reason this year, because in 2025, the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour is looking set to be a monster of a competition. We have some incredible circuits that they're visiting this year. We've got some fantastic drivers. We've got the best touring cars and the best touring car teams in the whole wide world taking part. And if 2024, or for that matter 2023, is anything to go by, we really do not know where the form book lies coming in to this qualification session. We've already enjoyed 2 practice sessions here in Mexico, and the form book, I'll have to admit, was a little bit confusing. Esteban Gurrieri stopped the times for GOAT Racing in FP1 ahead of the Lincoln Co of Jan Elishay, and then debutant Nacho Montenegro in third. But then in FP2, it was Aurélien Comte's turn to top the time screens. You can see on your screen right here, right now, this is our 24 car strong entry list for this weekend. 14 of these drivers will be under the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour banner. 10 drivers will be racing in TCR Mexico. In terms of the World Tour, we've got some new names. Aurélien Comte has joined brand new team SP Competition as they step up for TCR Europe. John Filippi will be alongside him. And then at the rest of the grid, it is very much business as usual. The 4 cars from Lincoln Co return again for this season. The trio of the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa outfits are there. Esteban Gurrieri is back for GOAT Racing. He's joined by TCR South America champion, FIA Motorsport Games winner, and TCR Europe third place man, Nacho Montenegro. They're going to be ones to look out for. And then these are the 2 new faces on your screen momentarily that we saw there for SP Competition. Both cars, the brand new Cupra VZ. They're going to be quick. They were very quick in the hands of Aurélien Comte, at least in FP2. That's a bit of an outlier. That's one for us to look out for coming in to qualification. I think it's fair to say SP are a smaller team than some of the outfits that we've got in the World Tour. It's going to be a fascinating story to see if they can punch above their proverbial weight, so to speak, this season and score some big results. Aurélien Comte, of course, we know all about him from TCR Europe. Massively competitive, took the championship down to the wire in 2024. And of course, John Filippi, a mainstay on the world stage, raced for Volcano Motorsport. Not a successful year in 2024, it has to be said. But John, back behind the wheel of a Cupra, will be hoping that reignites some of the pace that we know resides deep within the Frenchman. John Filippi is going to be one to look out for this season. Esteban Gurrieri as well, that you see on screen for GOAT Racing, leading the charge now at the Honda squad with young teammate Nacho Montenegro alongside? Can the Argentine find some of the pace that we saw in 2024 to string together a championship challenge? We're only a few minutes away then, or a few moments even, away from the start of Q1. And in Q1 today, something worth bearing in mind, we're going to take 10 drivers through to Q2. 10 of the 24 in the field, 10 of the 14 World Tour drivers. So at the end of this 20-minute session, there are going to be 4 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers that won't be making it through into Q2. And that's going to make their weekend very, very difficult indeed. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. There are a couple of our traditional Mexican teams that are going to be representing the World Tour as well over the course of this weekend. Car number 1, the Pro Rally Mothers Cupra Leon VZ TCR of Julio Rejon. He's going to be racing under the World Tour banner. The Peralta Racing Team Cupra VZ as well. Number 18 of Michel Jourdain Jr., former IndyCar driver and World Touring Car Championship star. He's going to be racing for the World Tour. And the 55, the Pro Rally Mothers Cupra, once again, Rodrigo Rejon, brother to Julio, will also be under the World Tour banner, making us 14 drivers under the World Tour. While we're doing that one, I'm just hearing in my ear there's going to be a small delay to qualification. It will open at 09:35 local time. So about 4 minutes from now, we're going to get the green flag, and then things get very exciting indeed for qualifying. Anybody who's been to any motor race anywhere in the world, not just TCR, will know this is one of the most exciting points of the weekend. Everybody's work is done. All the mechanics have done all they can do. All the planning, all the strategy has already been laid up. All of the rituals that the drivers have to go through, the last minute bits of telemetry, looking at the data, speaking with their engineers, all of that is finished. This is very much the calm before the storm for these drivers. The calm before the storm for us commentators. The calm before the storm for you good people watching at home. The last few minutes of peace and quiet and contemplation before everything gets very exciting indeed. And these touring cars do what they do best. Go very, very fast in the hands of some absolutely superb race car drivers out there for this season. Absolutely looking forward to this one then. If you're just joining us on TCR TV, a big warm welcome. This is qualifying for round 1 of the 2025 Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. Our 3rd season of the World Tour. And if I don't mind saying so myself, I think we're set fair for our biggest and best year of racing yet. Beautiful, beautiful drone shots then of our field of drivers. All 24 cars, of course, will go out into this Q1 session. It's going to last for 20 minutes. The name of the game is to set a time within the top 10. If you make it into the top 10 and you're a World Tour driver, good times roll on for you. You will go through into Q2. If you don't, then your grid position is going to be set for the rest of the weekend. So it's absolutely vital for these drivers that they do everything they can possibly do to be in the best position possible for race 1 and for race 2 that will follow. Also worth mentioning, a little bit of a change from your scheduled normal programming in World Tour parlance. This is going to be a 3-race weekend. Yes, more motor racing, more bang for your buck, ladies and gentlemen. Glad about that one. I certainly am. We're going to be racing just a little bit later on today at 2040 UTC for our first race of the day. Then on Saturday, we go racing again for race number 2. And finally, on Sunday morning, the 3rd and final race of the day will take place. So there's lots of opportunities for each and every one of our drivers to get a bank of points behind them and start their season off on the right foot. But where there's opportunity, there's jeopardy, ladies and gents, boys and girls. And of course, get this qualifying wrong, and it's so easy to do so when the field is so tight and the track is so technical, then you're going to be on the back foot very much for the remainder of the weekend. But we'll worry about that one in a moment, because I think my clock certainly says 34 minutes past the hour. The next 60 seconds, things will get loud, things will get exciting, and we'll go qualifying for the very first time in 2025. It's been a long 166 days since Dusan Borkovic crossed the line to take the race victory back in Macau to cap off what was a wonderful season. But just like in life, in motor racing, everything does refresh. We're starting from a clean sheet of paper for all of these drivers. Noah Mikulis, our reigning double champion, he will absolutely be looking to score some more big points if he can, to get his championship challenge off on the right foot. There's a little bit of redemption to be had. I think it's fair to say as well, the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing drivers perhaps were not quite as satisfied with their 2024 campaign as they possibly could be. They'll be looking for a little bit more from the driver's side of things as well. SP competition, GOAT racing as well for Honda. Do they have the chops to run at the front of the field for a full season in the World Tour? Well, let's wait no longer, folks, as we are go, go, go for the first 20-minute qualifying session of the season. And what a wonderful sight that is. 24 TCR touring cars heading out on track to start their qualifying. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And already we're going to see a little bit of strategic driving from some of these drivers. They need a little bit of clean air. Slipstream can be helpful. As Alex Le Guy mentioned down on pit lane, it is a monumental run down the start-finish straight. You need to have a good run on the opening laps to score those big times. Around, that's our first look on track of Aurelian Compt. As I mentioned, SP competition, new in to the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour this season. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how they go. And that's our look at the triple one of Ted Bjork. That's a drive that impressed me a great deal in 2024, did Ted Bjork. Former world champion, of course, in touring cars, but he really did show some fantastic speed, pretty much leading the charge. A couple of race victories under the Swedish driver's belt last season. Finished second in the Drivers' Championship, did Ted. Slower start to the year than perhaps he would have liked it to be. It's going to be a big opportunity for team and driver to come out of the blocks strongly, much like this team BRC Hyundai would like to do. BRC Hyundai have not had a very good start to the day so far in Mexico. A little bit slow in free practice 1 and 2. We already heard from Mikel Afkona thinking it's going to be a difficult qualifying. They'll be desperately keen to get big points on the board as soon as possible. And there is their latest signing, Bebu Girolami, of course, doing a bit of a tyre swap as becomes half of the course. And that gives some of our TCR Mexico drivers a little bit of an opportunity as well with some clean track to set some early times on the board. 2-9 of Bebo. Very, very sideways in that Elantra, just showing how little grip there is so far on this Mexico circuit. Not a great deal of other track activations have been happening over the course of the weekend. So the circuit is cleaning up, it's rubbering in a little bit. There will be more grip available to the drivers as the session runs through. Curiously, we didn't best our time in FP2 from what we saw in the first practice session of the weekend yesterday. So there's track progression and there's track change to be taken into account for many of these drivers. I don't think the quickest laps are going to come at the start of the session, but let's have a look then. As we break the timing beams, Jan Elishay is currently our quickest driver at this moment in time. In fact, it's changing very quickly indeed. 1 minute 34.916 for Elishay, just ahead of Santiago Urrutia at 35.225. So the opening banker laps have been completed by several of our drivers, and again, not too important at this moment in time in qualification. This is all about setting a relatively representative lap for yourself, just to give you a little bit of a safety blanket. And you can see from the body language of Jan Elishay's Lincoln Co. Cyan racing machine there, very, very lively underneath the drivers. Not a lot of grip in the early stages of this qualifying session. It's just about setting those times, keeping yourself out of jeopardy, and then building up as we get towards the crunch time, the end of Q1, where we decide which 10 drivers from the World Tour we're going to be taking forward into Q2. Taking then a quick look with 15 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. It's still Jan Elishay that's our fastest driver from Santiago. Urrutia marching Hua in third position. Then fourth is Ted Bjork. So the Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing's off of the block strongly. Noah Mikulis from Bebu Girolami in fifth and sixth. And the first of our TCR Mexico runners up there in 7th position. It's a great job from the number 88. Currently behind that wheel is Juan Pablo Sierra. The Cupra Leon VZ, very popular car is the Cupra around these parts it seems, so it should be a very competitive proposition indeed. Ted Bjork then goes quickest with a 34.856. That's a very good time from Ted, only a couple of tenths of a second away from the pace that was set by Esteban Gurrieri in FP1. That's the golden time that we're looking at, folks, a 34.655. That's the fastest time that we've had so far this weekend. Big question is, though, in qualifying where it matters, this is what the drivers are saving themselves for, and this is where the opportunities will present themselves. Aurelien Comte, and we're having a look now. Definitely plenty of commitment through the chicane for the French driver. That is the SP competition team watching on. Fantastic to see these guys moving up into the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour after a great campaign in TCR Europe last time around. And Aurelien Comte, massively composed driver. He'll be, I am certain, very enthusiastic to show exactly what he's got on the world stage. There's going to be a big ask. 14 drivers for the World Tour signed up for this weekend. Each and every one of them coming with their own pedigree. This entire field, in fact, is absolutely stacked with talent. 7 former World Tour winners of the 14 World Tour drivers registered for this weekend. 7 drivers have tasted victory champagne. The level and the experience is incredible, and belying all of that experience, perfectly on cue, thank you very much, Nacho Montenegro goes quickest, our debutant in the World Tour. The Argentine driver representing GOAT Racing, an all-Argentinian lineup with Esteban Gurrieri alongside Montenegro. The number 1, 2, 3 is the number he's going to be carrying through the season. And he does an absolutely fantastic job, picking up pretty much where he left off. His various different campaigns in Europe and Spain, to the FIA Motorsport Games as well. Nacho Montenegro showing everybody that he may be one for the future, but mark my words, is one for the here and now as well. His teammate Esteban Gurrieri goes just a little quicker. A tenth of a second separating our top 2 drivers at this moment in time. There is Esteban Gurrieri, very experienced driver, multiple race winner in TCR and World Tour competition. Bit of a standout driver, I think, both team and driver last year. GOAT Racing, first time that they've been on the world stage in 2024, and impressed a lot of people with the way that they've got that Honda working. They're a very, very competitive proposition, and absolutely 2 drivers we expect to be the sharp end of the grid as Aurelien Comte. Welcome to the World Tour, Aurelien Comte. Sideways through the chicane, does well to gather it up, but sideways may look incredible on the screen. It most definitely isn't the fastest way to get through a qualification session. That one's going to hold Aurelien up now. A couple of tenths of a second lost. It's not going to improve on this lap. Currently in 5th place, 6 tenths away from Gurrieri at the head of the timing screens. As we see the 4 Lincoln Co. Cyan racing machines in pit lane. They'll be waiting to cool the car down, make sure the tyres are okay, pop some new boots on, and send them out in unison in a few moments' time. Also in pit lane is John Filippi down there in 10th place. So John is currently the driver on the bubble at this moment in time. He'll be hoping to make it through into Q2 if at all possible. Bebu Girolame down there in 12th place. He's got work to do as Bebu to break it into the top 10. Norbert Miklas as well in 14th place, just again confirming how difficult it has been for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team. Speaking of Hyundais, this is the Araya Ross racing car from TCR Mexico that we're seeing on screen at the moment. That's the number 33 car, Jeronimo Guzman, Mexican driver, behind the wheel as things stand. That car's in 22nd position, so a little bit of work to do. And of course, let's remember TCR Mexico, we are joining this weekend. The World Tour travels around the world, joins various different regional and national championships and guest grids as well over the course of the year. Absolutely delighted to be alongside our TCR Mexico friends and colleagues this weekend. It's been a wonderful, warm welcome from the TCR Mexico organisation and teams, and they're doing an absolutely fantastic job at this moment in time. Julio Rejon is currently the quickest of the Mexican drivers, up there in 6th position. Of course, also as part of the World Tour this weekend is Rejon. doing an absolutely fine job with it as well, very firmly ensconced within the top 10 runners. Of those drivers that do represent TCR Mexico that aren't part of the World Tour, it's the 13th place car, currently the number 2 machine, RE Motorsport, Santiago Creel, behind the wheel. It's the quickest of our TCR Mexico runners with 9 minutes and 48 seconds left on the clock. BRC Hyundai then back out on track. Mikel Azcona leading the charge. The young Spanish driver had a great season, so much pace in 2024. Perhaps, just perhaps, those results didn't quite shine through as much as Mikel Azcona. He took a race victory, finished 3rd in the championship standings, but I think coming into the year there was hope of a little bit more. No, but Miklas, of course, taking the championship once again for the 2nd year in a row. Last season, a commanding season from Norway. Like fine wine, just seems to get better and better with age. There's Norbert Miklas, but he's going to have to be on his tippy toes because he has 2 very, very strong teammates. Indeed, Mikel Azcona and Nestor Girolami for company. Both drivers infinitely capable of taking a world championship in their own right. So Norbert Miklas has to work very hard. He's got a great slipstream from Ted Bjork. This is a bit of a changeover. Azcona opening the door for Girolami. Girolami, though, very squirrely on the brakes down into T1. I think that's going to cost both drivers a little bit of time. So the teamwork, the slipstream exchange between the pair of them, perhaps not quite working out as well as either driver would have liked. We'll keep our eye when we go through Sector 1 to see if that's injured either of their prospects, but I do think perhaps Bebu Girolami would have been hoping for a little bit more help from his teammate on that occasion. Miklas running clear further ahead. Well worth noting they're well outside of the top 10 at this moment in time. Girolami has a little bit of traffic for good measure as well, not doing anything to help the mood of the Argentine driver, I am absolutely sure. And this is going to be the name of the game in qualifying. Finding clean air, minimising mistakes. Can you pick up a slipstream? All of these questions are very important indeed. Jan Elishay going particularly quickly, pops it up into 2nd position. That's a fantastic time from Elishay, who 1 minute 34.449, just under half, a 1/10 of a second away from Esteban Gurrieri. So already we're starting to see a little bit of a turn of pace for the Lincoln Co drivers. It's still advantage Honda at the head of the pack, but in 2nd and 3rd, that's the bright blue machines, Jan Elishay and Ted Bjork, very much keeping a watching brief. Miklas crosses the line 1.3 seconds away, only good enough for an 11th position. So working solo without a tow, not working out particularly well for Norbert Miklas. There is 1:05, our reigning champion. Still got work to do, still time on the clock with 7 minutes and 5 seconds to go. But Norby definitely has a lot of work to do. Michel Jourdain Jr., fantastic lap there from Jourdain, former IndyCar driver, of course, up into the top 10, 9/10 of a second away, but good enough for 9th position for Michel Jourdain Jr., just behind Julio Rejon in 8th place and just ahead of Rodrigo Rejon. Rejon brothers, of course, putting a great show, 8th and 10th positions respectively. Aurelien Comp moves up in a 4th place with a great lap from Aurelien. 1.3 tenths away from the ultimate pace, but good enough for 4th position. Again, SP competition very much making a name for themselves on their debut weekend on the world stage. Can Santiago Arrutia improve? Crosses the line, stays in 6th place for Santiago. That is our new 4th place man, Aurelien Compt. That's a very, very nice time, looking reasonably comfortable for their prospects of being in the top 10. I think we're relatively safe now with where Aurelien Compt. Now it's a little bit of learning, a little bit of discovery ahead of the all-important Q2 in a few moments' time. So then, with 5 minutes, 50 seconds left on the clock, who is in trouble and who is looking comfortable? John Filippi down in 11th. He's not in the all-important top 10. There's more time to find. He needs to find just under a 1/10 of a second to break into that top 10. Norbert Miklas down there in 13th place. He's got a lot of work to do. Nearly 4 tenths need to be found by Norway. Even more for Nestor Girolami down there in 14th place. 1.8 away from the ultimate pace, but crucially 8/10 of a second away from the top 10 for Bebu Girolami. That's not looking good. Mikel Azcona down in 18th as well. Another one of our World Tour front runners we expect to see big things from Well, for Mikel, not a lot of time left on the clock in order to do that one. Aurelian Comte had a good sector 1, little bit of an intermediate sector 2. And I do think those Kumho tyres will be screaming enough as we come round the final turn. 4th position for Aurelian Comte. Will he improve? Doesn't quite manage to on that occasion. That was only good enough to be 3/10 away from the ultimate pace. 4 minutes 43 seconds then left on the clock. Santiago Urrutia just crosses the line, fails to improve, stays in 6th position. Rodrigo Rejon is the last of our drivers that will make it through in 10th place at this moment in time. Fantastic performance from both of the Rejon brothers. Julio up there in 8th, Rodrigo in 10th. Michel Jourdain Jr. sandwiched in a Rejon sandwich in 9th place. Great performance from the drivers that would normally be plying their trade in TCR Mexico. Doing a great job. As I say that one, the 88 goes up in a 10th. So Juan Pablo Sierra moves up in a 10th position. Good lap time from them. Disposing Rodrigo down into 11th, Gianfilippo down into 12th position. Final roll of the dice then for these fine gentlemen. The Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, 3 minutes 50 seconds left on the clock. This is Q1, remember. As soon as this session's over, we'll have a momentary lapse in proceedings while we talk to a few people, and then we'll go again for Q2. And Q2 will be what sets the grid for race 1 and also the top 10 reverse for race 2. Massively important session for all of our drivers. If you ain't in that top 10, you're going to be in a world of pain for the rest of the weekend. Absolutely vital for the likes of Gianfilippo, Norbert Michelis, Bebu, Girolami and Mikel Azcona. Those 4 drivers aren't there yet, and there is work to do to get there as we come down to the dying embers of this session. We're having a look at the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa. That's of course the Hyundai Elantra N TCR. That car won the Drivers' Championship in 2024 in the World Tour. Can they do it again? There's a lot of work to do. Some smart, some clever team play last year. Managed to take the championship for Norbert Michelis. It's going to be a big ask again though as we go through 20 races across 8 different events in 2025. There's a lot of challenge in front of our drivers. That's number 43, Zestri Racing VP Garage number 34, Audi RS3 LMS TCR from TCR Mexico that we briefly looked at there, looking absolutely wonderful in the baking sunshine here in Mexico City. The TCR Mexican drivers doing a fabulous job this season. Very, very close to the ultimate pace. In fact, 1.9 seconds covering our top 16. Very, very nice indeed. And it's going to make for great racing when we hit that race button a little bit later on this afternoon. Before we do so, we've got some very, very worried Hyundai drivers and Hyundai mechanics right on cue watching on. This has not been the start to the season for the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team that they'd be looking for. If you're Norbert Michelis down there in 13th place, you're going to be very nervous indeed. 3/4 tenths of a second needs to be found to break into that top 10. It is Girolami leading the train. There's the 105 of our reigning champion, Norbert Michelis. And just look how hard, you don't need a timing screen, do you, to see how hard these drivers are pushing. Nestor Girolami giving absolutely everything. There's a little bit of traffic up ahead. Hopefully they will be cleared before we need to worry too much about it. Neither first sector nor second sector are particularly strong for the BRC drivers. I don't think this is going to be enough, on this lap at least, to get through into the top 10. Certainly, while we're picking up these 2 slow running machines, everybody gets out of the way through the stadium section, the imposing stadium section during a Formula 1 weekend that is absolutely resplendent. But on this occasion, it is the scene of disappointment for our Hyundai stars. Girolami just about improves but doesn't change his position. They have got time to go again, but this could be our first big name faller of the season, right at the very first time of asking. It's going to be a big ask. That's the 7 M&M racing car just ahead. Hopefully the Honda gets out of the way. Gianfilippo, by the way, bumps up into the top 10. That's a good lap from Gianfilippo. Up in a 10th position for the 127. That's going to get him through into Q2 as things stand. It's all about what those behind can do now. As we get into the final few moments, there is John right on cue. 1 minute 35.255 for the French driver, rediscovering a little bit of his flair, a little bit of his pace that we didn't see much of for Volcano Motorsports in 2024. Felipe, though, back behind the wheel of a Cupra, doing absolutely fantastic work this moment in time. Where's his teammate Aurelien Comte up there in 4th place, so we know that Cupra's quick. Mikel Azcona, this is big news. Azcona decides that's enough for qualifying for him. He's going to be 19th position for Mikel. That is not a good Q1 at all. The BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team knew they were in trouble coming into this session, and trouble they most definitely are. Mikel Azcona down there in 19th place. He's got a lot of work to do to make his way forwards from there, marching quite across the line in 6th. Norbert Michaelis, he's not going to improve. Is Norby. He's going to stay 13th at best at the end of this session. What has gone wrong in Mexico for Hyundai? You can tell just by the way that Azcona opens the door. He's not happy at all with that performance, with the speed within the car. It just isn't there and hasn't been all weekend long. Gianfilippo now comes to cross the line. He does move up 9th position, so another place further into the top 10. That's been a good end to the day for a good end to Q1, should I say, for Gianfilippo. I hope it's not the end of the day for him. He's still got a Q2 to go. Let's have a look. Michel Jourdain Jr. looks to cross the line as well. Down in 11th place. Can they improve at the line? No, he cannot. Julio Rejon is the last of our top 10 drivers, and already look at this one. The debrief begins. Not very many happy looking faces there. Gabriele Tarquini, touring car legend, team manager, BRC, looks very, very disappointed indeed. And I dare say, Gabriele, you're not going to be as disappointed as your Chargers. It is, let's have a look then. Norbert Michaelis, 13th. Nestor Girolami, 15th. Mikel Azcona, 19th position. That is not the start to 2025. Team nor driver would have liked. It is the start, though, to the new season for SP Competition. Gianfilippo and Aurelien Comte. What a session from that team. Felipe in 9th position, Comte up there in 4th. Welcome to the world stage. And my goodness me, are they embedding themselves very nicely indeed, if this early running is anything to go by. Right then, let's head down and have a quick word with Alex Legui and Mikel Azcona down on pit lane. Okay, a few audio issues that we're having down there on pit lane, so let's try again. Let's head down to Alex Legui, who's speaking with a very disappointed Mikel Azcona.
Not the way that BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa want to start their year. Mikel, what happened out there? What's going on?
Well, to be honest, it couldn't be worse. I had engine problems. I had no turbo, so apparently some technical problems was there. Also, then we tried to fix. We couldn't, and then second problem appeared. So front roll bar was broken. To start the season like that, to be honest, it's the worst way to start the season like that, with 2 technical problems in qualifying. After having a great feeling yesterday, I was approaching the qualifying in a very good confidence mood, to be honest, but very, very disappointed to have 2 technical problems on qualifying. It's you cannot start like that a World Championship, so very disappointed.
Really disappointed for you, Mikel.
Very disappointed. Now that's possibly, folks, the biggest understatement of the season right there. 2 technical problems for Mikel Azcona. At least he can take some heart that it's not just pure pace where the car is struggling. But It's going to be a big day. So then, results for qualifying 1, Gurrieri from Jan Elishay, Ted Bjork and Aurelian Comte, Nacho Montenegro, Marcin Qua, 5th and 6th, Santiago Urrutia and then Rejon in 7th place. 8th position, sorry, John Felipe in 9th and then Julio Rejon in 10th place. Rest of the field we can see on our screen. You can see the times were tight, 1.7 seconds. We're covering the top 15 drivers, including the horrendously disappointed BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa team. It's going to be interesting. A World Tour Q2 without a BRC Hyundai in it. Don't think I can remember the last time I saw that one on my screens, but here we go nevertheless. So, 10 drivers go through into Q2. And what we're going to do now is we're going to set the grid, not just for race 1, but also the reverse top 10 for race 2. So it's all about going as fast as you possibly can. For Hyundai, it's all about debriefing as deeply as you possibly can. And for us folks at home, I still, honestly, could not tell you who my money would be for pole position. It is so close out there in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. It could be absolutely anybody's. Name of the game? Stay out of trouble. Name of the game number 2? See if you can pick a slipstream up and score points. Only 10 minutes in this session. 10 minutes to set a time. 10 minutes to dictate whether your day is going to get a whole lot easier or a whole lot worse when we go racing again a little bit later on today, 2040 UTC on the TCR TV YouTube channel for the first racing action of the day, as Norbert Michaelis looks like a man who doesn't quite know exactly what went wrong in that qualifying session. BRC Hyundai knew it was going to be a difficult day. It's definitely been a difficult day. The ascendancy, though, is with Honda, is with Link & Co, Cyan Racing, and is with Cupra for SP Competition. They're the names that are running at the front of our field. Many of our big hitters, many of our champion elects are here in Q2, and they're going to use the opportunity to bank points as quickly as humanly possible going into this season. Rodrigo Rejon and Julio Rejon also make it through as their Kumho FIA TCR World Tour drivers. There is Rodrigo. Absolutely fantastic. Basically all weekend long, the Pro Running Mothers Cupra drivers. Very, very fast indeed and looking absolutely like a fully fledged World Tour team. Well presented cars, well presented drivers, very fast all the way through all the sessions. Very interesting to see if they can do anything to trouble deep within this top 10, or if it's going to be our World Tour regulars that monopolise the front of the field. First qualifying time lap thens are underway. We don't have a time on the board yet, but this is most certainly going to be nervy moments for all 10 of these drivers. Very few opportunities to do alternate run strategies, very few opportunities to get a fresh set of boots on. There is Pepe Oriola. Alongside him, Ruben Fernandez, keeping a watching brief for Goat Racing. Both of their chargers made it through the first hurdle. Nacho Montenegro and Esteban Gurrieri, and this is going to be a dynamic that I think we'll all enjoy a great deal. 2 Argentine drivers, one young-ish and experienced, one very young and very inexperienced. The power struggle in that team is going to be something very much to keep an eye on. Esteban Gurrieri has sights set on a championship charge. Nacho Montenegro, knowing him as I do, won't say he's looking for the championship, but mark my words, Nacho Montenegro will be looking for a championship this season. He might be on debut in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour, but that is one thing that it is absolutely born to race a TCR car. It's our first times then. Across the board, Ted Bjork is the fastest of all with the 1 minute 33.932 from Nacho Montenegro. Just over a tenth of a second separate the two of them. Jan Elishay up there in third from Aurelian Comte. Marcin Qua crosses the line. 5th position, Esteban Gurrieri. Santiago Urrutia are the first of our drivers to set representative time. Rodrigo Rejon with a 35.698, 1.7 seconds adrift. And the last of our drivers so far to have set a time, John Felipe and Julio Rejon, still waiting to make their way over the timing screens. First lap, as always in motorsport, a little bit of a banker. Get that time on the board and then get ready to go very fast indeed next time around. That is Marcin Qua Another driver, I think, that's probably will be hoping for more in 2025. Kumho had a solid season last year, did a good job, took a race victory, but was only 8th in the Drivers' Championship standings and arguably towards the results-wise weaker end of the spectrum of the 4 Lincoln Co Cyan racing drivers. So Kumho has a little bit of work to do to re-establish himself in the hierarchy of the team, because these kind of internal politics matter over the course of the season. Ted Bjork, we saw him strong-arm himself into the point man of Lincoln Co last season. They'll be looking to do very much the same again. Everybody tries to establish himself as the driver the team congregate behind, and Jan Aleshe, I think, comes into this one with the expectation that that's his position. But again, you can't look too far past the performances of Ted Bjork. The likes of March and Guan need to have a bit of a renaissance. Santiago Urrutia as well. Very, very up and down season in 2024 for Santi. No victories, 7th in the championship standings. A little bit of controversy followed him last year as well. So Urrutia is another driver very firmly on a redemption story arc coming into this season. Big question is, though, that's fine in theory. If you haven't got the pace to back it up, though, that is what matters on track. The quickest driver, the team will congregate behind. The team will give their full support. So an internal and external battle for Lincoln Co Cyan Racing. Currently, Ted Bjork's the man that holds that advantage, both in terms of recent results, in terms of the fact he's quickest of all in qualifying so far. As we'll look at John Filippi. John, yet to set a representative time. 1 minute 40.6 last time around, a good few seconds off the pace. So let's have a look what Filippi can do. Just a quick turnaround by the Lincoln Co boys. They get back out again, and I think, was that a Goat Racing Honda? I saw, yes it is, just sneaking in as well, trying to break up that formation, so that's not optimal for Lincoln Co. I'm sure they'll find a way past, though, as they make their way around this 3.904 kilometre long Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit here in Mexico, and lined up for a final time. A final roll of the dice in qualifying, folks. All the testing, all the talking, all the contract signing, all of the media duties, all come down now to your best qualifying performance. Riding on board with Esteban Gurrieri. Fabulous to have these live onboard shots. That's the Goat Racing Honda as we quickly come away. Didn't get much of a chance to take in this beautiful, beautiful Mexico City circuit. Fabulous, fabulous in fact, to be here with the World Tour. We need to mention that for a while. It's great to be back and racing in Mexico. It's great to be back on a Formula One grade facility. It's plenty wide is this racetrack, so 2, 3, 4 wide. Whatever is your flavour. That's what we're going to be doing when we go racing. Definitely the kind of track where overtaking is possible. Drivers like it, they're enjoying the challenge. They're excited about the racing prospect. Julio Rejon crosses the line, 8th position. Car number 1, 1.1 seconds away from the pace. So a little bit detached from the back of the World Tour regulars for Julio. They're definitely leading the charge of those racing under the World Tour banner over the course of this weekend. Normally in TCR Mexico, of course. Reigning champion, in fact, with his brother, Julio and Rodrigo Rejon. So they've got some pedigree. Definitely know how to be quick in a TCR car in Mexican soil. A little bit of home advantage seems to be playing in their favour at this moment in time as well. John Filippi then, first time in sector, 4/10 away from the pace, so quickest for him, but absolutely not in contention at this moment in time to trouble our top 6 drivers at least. Filippi, though, a little bit late start to session, running slightly off plan compared to some of the other drivers in Q2, and definitely pushing that car very hard. The harder and longer it slides, though, unfortunately, means it ain't going forwards and it won't be setting the quick lap time. So not quite the start yet for John Filippi. 1 minute just under on the clock. We'll break the timing screens. Does move up to 9th position, 1.2 seconds away, but there's more pace, absolutely more pace in John Filippi's car. And this is his final roll of the dice. Nacho Montenegro goes quickest in Sector 1. Montenegro very much on a charge as well. Second on the timing screens at this moment in time. Jan Aleshe is going faster as well. That's a very nice second sector for Aleshe. Currently in 3rd position, but this is Montenegro will keep our eye now on the young Argentine driver. Car number 123, revised livery for Goat Racing, looking very good indeed. Gurrieri goes quickest off screen as well, so Montenegro's teammate Esteban Gurrieri breaks the timing beam with a 1:33.742. That's a fabulous lap. Has Montenegro got enough to try and take that provisional fastest time away from Gurrieri? He does not, does Montenegro. The final sector was an absolute disaster. He will have another roll of the dice, as will teammate Gurrieri as well. It is currently Esteban Gurrieri from Jan Elyshe, from Ted Bjork, Nacho Montenegro and Santiago Urrutia are your top five. Aurelien Comp, Marchingua, Julio Rejon, John Felipe and Rodrigo Rejon round out the top 10. Aurelien Comp's already done his day, so Compt ain't going to improve from 6th position. He's under threat from Mar and from Felipe behind as well. So Aurelien Compt, great qualifying session for SP, made it through first time of asking into Q2, and Aurelien up there in 6th position. John Felipe up there in 9th place as well. Let's take a look though at Montenegro, fastest of anyone, sector 1. Nacho Montenegro definitely on a charge at this moment in time. Santiago Urrutia looking quick as well in sector 1. That's a little bit of inter-team play. Urrutia makes his way past Jan Elyshe, so Elyshe doesn't think he can go quicker. Second place is the best that Elyshe's hoping for in this session. Keeping our eye on the timing screen to see if anybody's lighting up the screen. Nobody is at the moment. Marchingua just about failing to improve, I think, as we come through into the final corner. Nacho Montenegro's lost armfuls of time, so his challenge has been dented somewhat. Esteban Gurrieri still at the front of the field, still on a quick lap as well. Montenegro's day is done. So one of the Goat Racing Hondas is out of contention down there in 4th place. The other one sits on the provisional pole. Pepe Odriola, Ruben Fernandez. Yes, there we go. Elyshe and Bjork call it quits. Flag has fallen, and the first pole position sitter in 2025 in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour goes the way of Esteban Gurrieri. The experienced hand comes through at the flag to take the first quickest time of the weekend. Jan Elyshe will start provisionally in 2nd position alongside Ted Bjork. Nacho Montenegro on debut makes it a fabulous performance for Goat Racing. Montenegro starts in 4th place. Santiago Urrutia is in 5th place. Aurelien Compt, great performance from the French driver, up there in 6th. Marchingua lines up in 7th position, just ahead of Julio Rejon in 8th. John Felipe will be 9th for the first race of the weekend, and Rodrigo Rejon rounds out our top 10 qualification times from Q2 for the first qualifying session of 2025. Lights are flashing, drivers are cheering, and that is a pole position and a half for Esteban Gurrieri. Fantastic stuff from the Argentine driver, and he'll be absolutely delighted from that one. Points on the board as well, of course, for qualifying. So he's our new leader of the World Tour. Pepe Odriola looks a little bit confused. Esteban Gurrieri looks a little bit confused. Don't worry, Esteban. You deal with celebrating. It's going to be pole position award trophy as well in a few moments' time. Brand new for this season, the pole position award. And that'll be a very, very well received one indeed. Fabulous stuff. Absolutely fabulous stuff for Gurrieri. And believe it or not, that's his first ever pole position in the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. What a way to kickstart your new campaign. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Gurrieri, though, and Goat Racing, to be fair, are both a very, very professional team. So they'll celebrate. They'll take a few moments to enjoy, till they all soak in the magnitude of the achievement, and then it'll be straight into game face for race 1. A little bit later on today, 2040 to be precise, UTC will be going into race 1 on the TCR TV YouTube channel. Make sure you're around for that one. A Gurrieri Elyshe front row of the grid, and a Nacho Montenegro in 4th. Yes, please. That's going to be absolutely electric when we go racing in a few moments' time, but we'll worry about that one later. As Esteban Gurrieri, love to see that one, because thanks every single member of his Goat Racing team, and they've done a fantastic job, Goat Racing have, to put that Honda together and put it together so well for this weekend. That's our provisional results then. It is Esteban Gurrieri from Jan Elyshe and Ted Bjork. Nacho Montenegro 4th, from Santiago Urrutia. Aurelien Comte and Marcin Qua are 6th and 7th. Julio Rejon will start in 8th position, just ahead of John Felipe in 9th. And then Rodrigo Rejon rounds out the top 10 starters for the first race of the weekend a little bit later on this afternoon. Whew. Take a moment to compose yourself, good people at home. That was quite an interesting qualifying session. Here we go, look. That's very own Marcello Lotte, WSC president. Writing out the pole position times. There's a lot of pressure involved in this one. When you've only got one chance to write it correctly, you want to make sure it's neat and you want to make sure it fits. And a 1 minute 33.742 is the time that we're looking for. And in a few moments' time, our very own Marcello Lotte will award that to Esteban Gurrieri as a small token of his efforts this morning here in Mexico City. To get fastest time of anybody in qualifying. Took him 4 laps to get there. 2 timed, an out and an in. And he was good enough for that pole position. So, let's have a quick word with our pole position man, as I believe Alex Le Gui is down on pit lane to speak to our new pole sitter.
And Marcello Lotti presents the pole position trophy to Esteban Gurrieri, who takes his first ever pole in TCR World Tour. And what a pole! That was a cracking lap.
Yeah, well, first of all, buenos días a todos los mexicanos aquí en el autódromo. That was a good one, to be honest. It was not easy because my first lap was very scrappy. I completely messed it up. So I had one shot, and I knew how to put it all together, but then you have to go and deliver it. You know? So easy, the heat is coming up. We prepared the tires in the Q1, so we have only one shot for that lap. And it worked out, so I'm really pleased. I didn't know that was going to be 33.7, which is a very good lap time. But it was just enough for pole. We are very, very close to the Lincoln course. So I'm very pleased. I don't remember when was my last pole position in TCR, you know. So I really like, I enjoy going full to the limit with this car. And in qualifying you normally do. And that was really a nice one. So thank you to the team that we started really late the preparing the season, and now we are on pole position. So it's all a team effort. Thank you.
The boost, the confidence boost that something like this must give you and the team, because Nacho was also P4. Like it's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, Nacho is doing a great job. I know him since already last year. We worked together. I was coaching him in another team, and I know his capabilities, his concentration, his attitude to work, which is great. And I'm really pleased that we are together, and for sure we will build to each other to maximize potential. And I learned from him a lot this weekend, and hopefully he takes some tips from me and we can do both a good job.
Yes, I have no doubt that you two will be a duo to be reckoned with. Congratulations, Esteban, much deserved.
Gracias. Thank you.
Much deserved indeed. A fantastic, fantastic performance from Esteban Gurrieri. So here you are again, the provisional top 10 from Q2. Esteban Gurrieri from Jan Elishay, Ted Bjork and Ignacio Montenegro. Santiago Urrutia, Aurelien Comte in 5th and 6th. Marcin Qua in 7th from Julio Rejon in 8th. John Felipe 9th and Rodrigo Rejon round out the provisional top 10. And let's remember, we're back in action once again for the first race of the day, 2040 UTC on the TCR TV YouTube channel. Make sure you join us for that one. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic race, and I'm going to leave you with some images from our first qualifying of the 2025 season.